Babu Shafa'a, the chapter of the intercession. The intercession, and he mentioned the intercession only, Shafa'a only, because there are different types of Shafa'a, different types of intercession. Some intercession that is not valid and bad, and some intercession that is valid and good. So it's important to, and one of the things that differentiate a believer with the disbelievers, one of the things that differentiate the believers from the disbelievers, the issue of Shafa'a. So the Shafa'a is a test by itself that separates the people of the truth from the people of deviation and disbelief and so on. So what is the correct Shafa'a, so that a person would believe in it, and what is the wrong Shafa'a, so that a person would distance himself from it. So that's why it's a very important chapter. Shafa'a, and this is again why this chapter is there in that order, because the disbelievers, they mention the Shafa'a. Why they worship the idols? Because of the Shafa'a. هؤلاء شفعاؤنا عند الله. The disbelievers would say that it's mentioned in the Quran, these are our intercessors to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Think between them and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what is a Shafa'a means? A Shafa'a meaning that from Shaf', you know, and Shaf' meaning two, even. So the same thing, when a person wants something from someone, so he makes Shafa'a, that means he adds something so that he would seek the help from it, meaning someone to help you to attain what you need. To the kings and things like that, people might not be able to go to the kings immediately, so they need somebody to help them in their affairs and so on and so on. So the first verse here that is mentioned in this chapter, وأنذر به الذين يخافون أن يحشروا إلى ربهم ليس لهم من دونه ولي ولا شفيع لعلهم يتقون. And warn therewith those who fear that they will be gathered before their Lord, when there will neither be a protector nor an intercessor, a shafi' for them besides him, besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that they may fear Allah and keep their duty to him. This verse clearly mention that the shafa'a for the disbelievers does not benefit them. لَيْسَ لَهُمْ مِن دُونِهِ وَلِيٌّ وَلَا شَفِيعٌ. That the disbelievers, no protector, no supporter, no intercessor will help them. They die in the state of kufr. No matter how much people intercede for them, it doesn't work, even if it's the messengers of Allah. And it also shows that the way that a person seeks the shafa'a is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. لَيْسَ لَهُمْ مِن دُونِهِ. They have no shafi' from him except him subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means, as it will come inshallah ta'ala, the shafa' or the intercession is to be given from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then as a result of that, people are not to seek it except from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, since He is the bestower of the shafa'. And we will mention the conditions that takes the roots of the shirk from the heart with regarding to the shafa'. 3 conditions that we need to memorize them very well. But we go step by step inshallah ta'ala. Also, how the verse وَأَنذِرْ بِهِ الَّذِينَ يَخَافُونَ, warn those. It's a call even to us to use this as advising others, admonishing others, to remind others of the hereafter. And this is the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that the believers are the only ones that would benefit from al-maw'idah, from the reminder. وَأَنذِرْ بِهِ الَّذِينَ يَخَافُونَ. Warn those who fear that they will be gathered before their Lord. The disbelievers, those hearts, when it's dead, they don't benefit by the reminder. Only the believers will benefit by the reminder, and that's why a person should work on his iman so that the reminder affect him, so that he's affected by the words of Allah and the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The next verse, قُلْ لِلَّهِ الشَّفَاعَةُ جَمِيعًا, which means say to Allah belongs all intercessions. All of it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the verse is very clear. It does not belong to no one. It belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So it refutes the disbelievers, those who claim that they seek the shafa'a from the human beings. It is not to be sought from the human beings, because it belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone, and it's owned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. So that means a person should seek it and ask for it from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And this is clearly, this is not a mutashabih ayah. It's not a verse that can mean more than one thing. This is ayat muhkamat. This is clear verses of the Quran. قُلْ, O Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لِلَّهِ الشَّفَاعَةُ جَمِيعًا. Even in the Arabic language, when the sentence starts with jar or majroor, لِلَّهِ, lam harf jar, Allah, right? Majroor. لله الشفاعة جميعا. When it starts with jar or majroor, that means it's khabar مؤخر والمبتدا الشفاعة. So that means you can say الشفاعة لله, but instead it says لله الشفاعة. See the difference? The ayah says لله الشفاعة, right? Starts with لله الشفاعة. It is correct linguistically to say الشفاعة لله, that the shafa'a is to Allah. But instead the verse starts with لله الشفاعة. In the Arabic language, and forgive me if I'm taking time in this, but if the sentence starts with a noun, it's called jumla ismiya. Jumla ismiya, the sentence that starts with a noun, is called mubtada. This is the first thing, and then al-khabar. Sometimes the order switches, and there is a benefit linguistically in understanding when the khabar, which is supposed to come second, comes first. Why is that? One of which is gives the general meaning, the takhsis, and to make it specific, that this is the only way. Emphasis. And even small kids, they say that without knowing. For example, you say رجل في البيت, a man in the house. رجل, a man, في البيت, in the house. It's clear what's the meaning of it, right? But you have your kid coming running to you, and he says في بيتنا رجل. Instead of saying a man in the house, he would say in the house there's a man. What he's trying to say? He wants to get your attention that in the house, the man is in the house. So he gets the word first that need to get your attention. That the problem is that he is in the house, not that he's a man. The problem that he's in the house. So he starts with the house, right? So when the sentence starts with the jar wal majroor, fi baytina rajul, that means the attention is to be given to that first word. So the ayah here says lillahi shafa'a. That means what? To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belong the shafa'a. There is no way that it can belong to anyone else. Without no doubt, without no ambiguity. Because He's the owner of all things subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why it's not ambiguous. Astaghfirullah, it's not a verse that can mean more than one thing. It means only one thing. Clear verse. That the shafa'a is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. As a result of that, the human beings should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone for the shafa'a. And it's still going to get clearer and clearer, inshallah ta'ala. The next verse, in Ayatul Kursi, the most virtuous verse in the Quran. مَنْ ذَا الَّذِي يَشْفَعُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ. Who is he that can intercede with him except with his permission? With the permission of Allah. So the intercession is by the permission of Allah. And it will come, inshallah ta'ala. So only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would give the permission. That means human beings intercede. Yes, in the Day of Judgment there is the shafa'a of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would intercede for his ummah, as it will come, inshallah ta'ala. But the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as it's mentioned in the hadith, as it will come, he will be given the permission. He will prostrate under the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will open ways for him to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the ways that the Prophet ﷺ didn't know how to do it before. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell him, Ya Muhammad, irfa' ra'sak, sal tu'ta. That means, O Muhammad, raise your head, ask and you will be given, ishfa' tushaffa. Intercede, you will be granted the intercession. So this is after the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. That means what? These are the conditions. We're getting one to one by these verses. That the shafa'a is owned only by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that gives the permission. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives the honor of the shafi'ah, right? The first one is that it's owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and it's by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second thing is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give the shafa'ah, like to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a way to honor the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam in front of the creation of Allah. Number 3, this shafa'ah would not be granted except for those who Allah is pleased with. So the believers, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has to be pleased with them first, for them to be given the shafa'ah from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Human beings, if a king or the judge orders something to punish someone, and then they send someone, please intercede for us, and this king, for example, is not pleased with these people. So the person, please be pleased with them, please forgive them, please, till he changes his mind, Right? This is not when it comes to the shafa'ah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. From Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will give the permission to the Prophet and the righteous people. This is a way to honor them. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't grant the shafa'ah unless He is pleased with the subject of the shafa'ah, meaning the sinners and so on. And then as a result of that, they will be granted the shafa'ah. And these conditions, if it's there, it takes the roots of the shirk from the hearts. That means what? Don't turn to the human being seeking the shafa'ah, turn to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. If you want the shafa'ah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, do the things that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam ordered us to do. Whether it's following his sunnah alayhi salatu wasalam, making salah on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which grants the person the shafa'ah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you do that a lot, and you do that on Friday. And the same thing when after each adhan, when you say Allahumma rabba hadhihi ad-da'wati at-tamma was-salati al-qa'imah, whoever says this dua, the Prophet ﷺ said, his shafa'ah, my shafa'ah will be for such a person. Right? So these are the means for the shafa'ah of the Prophet ﷺ, and not one of which is in which the person would say, now for example, would say, O Prophet of Allah, intercede for me in the Day of Judgment. This is not what the Prophet ﷺ ordered us. This is not what the companions radiallahu anhum did. It is valid to say, oh Allah, make the Prophet ﷺ intercede for me in the Day of Judgment. This is valid because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the owner of the shafa'ah. We have 5 minutes to Maghrib. Inshallah, let me just finish the chapter real quick. وَكَمْ مِنْ مَلَكٍ فِي السَّمَوَاتِ لَا تُغْنِي شَفَاعَتُهُمْ شَيْئًا إِلَّا مِنْ بَعْدِ أَنْ يَأْذَنَ اللَّهُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَرْضَى. And there are many angels in the heavens whose intercession will avail nothing except after Allah has given leave for whom He wills and pleases. Again, to show that the permission is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلِ ادْعُوا الَّذِينَ زَعَمْتُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ لَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ فِي السَّمَوَاتِ وَلَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. This is one. وَمَا لَهُمْ فِيهِمَا مِنْ شِرْكٍ وَمَا لَهُم مِّنْهُم مِّنْ ظَهِيرٍ وَلَا تَنْفَعُ الشَّفَاعَةُ عِنْدَهُ إِلَّا لِمَنْ أَذِنَ لَهُ. Say, call upon those whom you assert to be associates with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They possess not even the weight of an atom or a small ant. One. Either in the heavens or on the earth, nor have they any share in either. Number two. Nor there is for him any supporter from among them. Number four, intercession with him profits not except for him who he permits. These things that the people call unto other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they have nothing of what is being said, and one of which is the shafa'ah. Maybe we should continue after the salah, because it's an important subject. We'll stop at this point inshallah, and we continue after the salah.